everybody to Live on Purpose. It's your girl Purpose, and we are back with another great episode. We just want to thank you for tuning in and also subscribing on YouTube to Purpose Speaks. Today, we have Tito Bradley right here from Cleveland, an author, and we're going to find out about serial killers. So sit back, relax, get your glass of wine, and let's get it. Live on Purpose, again, you can't stop a movement. Once it gets started, forward motion all the way. We want to take media to a different level. We want to tell stories that people want to hear. Radio, TV, so much more is coming. Live on Purpose has so much more to offer the community across the world. What's crazy is that I'm not inspired by your average everyday entertainer that you turn on the radio and hear. I'm inspired by people who have words to say that most people don't hear them. They go days and days without hearing. I'm inspired by the grandmother who's been on her street for 52 years and has seen and heard everything and still stands regardless of how many people have gotten killed right in front of her eyes. I am inspired by that everyday person who is great that nobody. I am back with Tito Bradley, author right here in Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So much to talk about. So when we first met, you had a book out at that time. What was that book?
It was We Got Issues, a conversation about black love and relationships.
Yes, I remember that. And it definitely was dealing with the things, the relationships, the issues that, come up between black people in black love. So how well did that book do?
Actually, it did very well.
Okay.
Many people wanted a part two, but
I'm sure.
I didn't want to do it.
Okay. Did anybody ever come up to you and say, this helped me with my relationship?
Actually, yes. A lot of people thought, they wondered, like, where did you get this from? Because they thought I was speaking from their life personally.
Wow.
But what I did was I did a lot of interviews with different people with the same topic.
Okay.
And so it was a generalization of what we deal with. So when I put it all in the book, it was very familiar. Because I asked the same question to multiple people in different situations to see what we were dealing with.
Right.
So it was very, I guess you could say, common, some of the things that we were dealing with, and everybody related to it.
Okay. What made you first start writing, period?
Actually, with that first book, the roundtable discussions myself and some friends and cousins were having, we were talking about relationships, and I just said, I'm going to write a book about it, because we were all battling on how did we get here, and what's wrong, or she's right, I'm wrong, she's right, blah, 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 blah. So I said I'm going to, get a idea about it from everybody and put it all in one place. Right. Because we never talk about it. Either all the fellas are talking about it, all the ladies are talking about it.
But not at the same time.
But never at the same time.
Right, okay.
So I said I'm going to put it all together so we can have this conversation. And that's why the book is entitled, We Got Issues, a conversation about black love and relationships. Right. It's not a he's wrong or she's wrong. It's our conversation that we need to have.
Yeah. Now, did you feel like by talking to so many different people and from both sides that you gained some knowledge and some information?
Without a doubt.
Right.
Without a doubt. I mean, I asked one question of where did you get your information about being a husband and wife? Where did you get your instructions? I asked people who were married, divorced, single, and a lot of them gave the same answer of nowhere. No one taught me how to be a wife or how to be a husband or what was expected of me. And it was strange because you have different people from different areas with different results that all had the same core of not getting instructions.
Right.
So that was something that I brought out in the book.
Okay. So now we went all the way from relationships and black love to serial killers.
Right.
Oh my goodness. What inspired this?
Actually, after We Got Issues, I did Bait and Switch. Was about a hustler in Cleveland getting out of the street life. Right. And that did very well.
Good.
Had very good success with that. And I wanted to do something totally different. And I thought, okay, what can I do different? The first book was about the relationships. The second book was about, a hustler in Cleveland. I want to do something that's totally different because I want to be a writer. Right. And I came up with the idea of a serial killer, but with a twist. Okay.
Now, so you've gone in different areas each time. Is that and obviously you've purposely done so because you want to tackle all different spectrums of writing, right? So what do you feel might be the next step? Because you've covered a lot of ground so far.
Well, actually, I was told not to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. My next book after this is called Blue Euphoria, and it's an erotic books, kind of like a 50 Shades
You
of
definitely
Grey
need to
type.
go to the erotic side.
we're going
Everybody
there.
has to incorporate a little.
That's the next. But
Okay.
one continuous theme will be from now on is Cleveland. Every
Okay.
book will be based in Cleveland,
Right.
even though each topic will be totally different. So they're not connected. None of the characters are connected. The only
Okay.
thing that connects is the city of Cleveland.
Okay.
But every time you get a book from now on, it's going to be something totally different.
So even though the characters are not connected, but some of the places that they go
Oh, yeah,
to,
it's
so that you
included.
can kind of, so if there's a Tito Bradley fan out there, they can kind of follow the stream,
Yeah,
so to speak.
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
Especially if you're from Cleveland,
Right.
you'll be automatically immersed because when you hear the streets and talk about the radio station and the areas and actually in Bait and Switch and this book, I incorporate actual people
Okay.
that may be celebrities or instances or situations that have happened in Cleveland in the book to give it more,
Yeah.
realistic vibe.
I like that. So Bait and Switch, what was that? What was the basis and inspiration around Bait and Switch?
It was actually a figment of my imagination. I just
Okay.
said I want to come up with a urban fiction book, but I want it to be different.
Okay.
A lot of the urban fiction books that I've read is more, guns blazing and profanity and sex and, but the plot is not heavy.
Okay.
So Bait and Switch, I made the plot the actual core, and everything revolved around it.
Okay.
So that when you read the book, you got everything, but nothing was saturated. But the plot moved, and there was a lot of twists and turns.
Okay.
So it kept your attention, and that's what a lot of people say. I couldn't put the book down. And it's not because of the violence or the drugs or sex. It's because the plot was so heavy.
Okay. Okay. So being a writer has its ups and downs. What have you experienced on the downside of being a writer?
On the downside, you're not going to be rich right away.
I think that's with everything, right? Right.
Well, actually, being self-published, which is I don't want to say the downside, but the other side of it is I am the business. So, if you're a writer like Stephen King or John Grisham, you write the book and you drop it off.
Right.
You have a company that does everything.
Exactly.
But when you're the publisher and the writer, when you finish writing the book, that's when the work really starts.
Right.
So I don't want to say it's the downside, but it's the hustle side that a lot of people don't see that has to be done.
Right.
As far as financing, everything comes from me. So you see a book that costs $15,
Right.
but that's not.
Yeah.
That's not how it goes.
That's not how it goes.
That's not how it
Right.
goes.
So now I'm not saying, and I'm not 100% sure, so I'll just say, in my opinion, there's not a lot of black authors who write science fiction. Have you ever thought of maybe at some point going that direction?
Sure.
Okay.
And that would be a challenge for me because I'm not into science fiction. So it would be something that I would have to research and really, and when you're not really connected to something, it's a challenge, and it makes it more of a, I don't want to keep saying challenge, it makes it more interesting to the author, for me,
Right.
to go into, detail, because I have to get it right.
Yeah. When I wrote an urban fiction book, I can remember going back like a year or so later and actually reading it, because I'm the type of person that writes it and then I don't want to have anything to do with it anymore.
Right.
And I read it and I'm like, oh my God, and I was into it. So that let me know that somebody else could be into it as well. So do you go back and you just were reading your book outside waiting for the show?
Yeah, I just got it back yesterday. This is the proof copy. So and what a lot of people don't understand is this book was written over a course of 3 years.
Right.
So I wrote some when I was on vacation. I wrote some when I was at the gym. I pulled my car over and wrote whatever.
Yeah, I know.
So I've never read the book from start to finish until I start editing it.
Right.
And still, when you're editing, you're still not reading the book. You're looking for errors. You're trying to make sure everything matches up. So now I'm actually reading the work, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I know what my thought process was, but to have these now 13 chapters all blend, it's like having a baby born. Like, I'm so excited to see, my baby walking now.
Okay, that's right. When we come back, we're going to talk to Tito Bradley more about his experience as an author here in Cleveland, as well as his new book about serial killers. We'll be back in just a second. back with Tito Bradley, author, to talk about reciprocation. So don't give it away, but tell us a little bit about the story.
Well, the basis of the story is a serial killer that cannot be profiled, and that's the core of it. The second, I guess, the second level is there's two detectives, and one is about to retire and one just starting. So they have a battle of wits. The new detective is tech savvy. Right. You know, she's iPhone and Wi-Fi and internet. Right. And she's being mentored by a detective who's about to retire, and he's pen and pad. And you know, so they have their differences, and that combined with trying to catch a unconventional killer. Really, you know, has the story going. And that's pretty much it
sounds like I want to read it right now. I'm so into Criminal Minds and things like that. Like that would kind of probably, I'd read it in one day, I guess, so to speak. So that kind of sets the tone. Everybody needs to go out and get it, but we'll give that information in a few. Some people say it's hard to make it in Cleveland. If you can make it in Cleveland, you can make it anywhere. And you've been pretty successful with your books. What do you attribute that to?
The hustle. You know, I believe, you know, it's up to each individual. It's not a given that people will take to you. So you have to take it to them. You know, you can't. I see a lot of people make a product and they sit it, and that's it. You have to go out to, you know, every show, you know, you have to be in the mix, and you have to support other artists. Absolutely. And have an inter-exchange with them. When they have an event, you need to be there. You need to support them. Right. And every opportunity you have, you know, the hair shows, and I think we had the Black Friday about a month ago. Every event that happens, go set up a booth, be seen. And believe it or not, it really, when people see you enough, they start saying, "Oh, you're that guy that blah blah blah." Right, right.
So you've been, you know, you've had some support, and there is kind of an inner circle too in Cleveland too. If you kind of know a few different folks, and you can be in on what's going on or what have you. What else? How's your family been? How is trying to write and being married and doing all that fun stuff? How does that work?
You know what? I just got married this year, and my wife is very supportive, and she catches the other end of it. Because I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I have an idea. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? Or, you know, one time we were on a cruise, and like I said, right on the cruise, I just had the idea of how to kill somebody. In the book. So we're walking, I say, I'm about to kill somebody. Just thinking out loud. She's like, what? I'm like, no, the book. So she's, you know, around, and a lot of times, you know, one of the, I can't say what chapter it was, I said, I want you to read this. And she said, oh my God, this is crazy. And I was like, yeah, that's the reaction that I want. He's like, no, I don't think you should do that. That's too much. I'm like, this is a serial killer. A serial killer does too much. Exactly. So, you know, she's the soundboard to a lot of what goes on.
So she's been supportive.
Very.
Anyone else in your family kind of?
Well, you know, I have cousins. Yeah, everybody. You know, everybody. When is it coming out? When is it coming out? You think you just sit down and write it, you know, one night, you know, but it doesn't happen like that. But everybody in the family is very supportive. Everybody comes out and buy a book and take pictures.
Good. So as far as being a writer, have you faced any of some of the, I don't know, stereotypes that a lot of people say? In other words, that writers get depressed, or writers go through, you know, peaks and valleys or what have you. Have you felt any of those?
I get writer's block.
You do? Okay.
But being self-published, I'm not under any pressure.
Exactly.
So the book comes alive, I write. And when the characters go to sleep, I go on about my life.
There you go.
So I'm not, you know, I don't push the issue, and I think, and I don't want to toot my horn, but that's why the books are so good, because they flow naturally. You know, when the characters come alive and the ideas come, I can stop and write at any time. I'm not under where you need to have this done, where I'm forcing it, or I'm creating out of pressure. There's no pressure. So I'm comfortable when I write, and even when I have to go back and change something, you know, I don't have to get it cleared by anybody. I am the business. I'm a business man.
So would you ever, like, if somebody picked up your book, a national publisher or what have you picked up your book and wanted to publish you, would you be open to that?
Yeah, but it has to be right.
And it has to be your way, right?
It has to be my way. You know, and I would prefer a distribution deal over a
Okay.
publishing deal where you just distribute my work.
Mhm.
But if someone said, hey, if the money was right and I still remain, in control of my product,
Mhm.
in time, if I have the same situation I have now with backing,
Right.
without a doubt.
Right. So the next organic kind of natural step would be a movie. Have you ever thought about that?
Yes, I had some, the wheels rolling with Bait and Switch
Okay.
to do that, to bring that to a movie.
Mhm.
We had some snags where it didn't take place, but it's not over.
Okay.
When people read Bait and Switch, they said, I could see this as a
Mhm.
movie. Actually, I put it in my acknowledgement.
Mhm.
When I first told my wife about the book, I was just telling her. I hadn't even finished writing it.
Right.
And having a conversation with her, she was like, oh my God, I could see that as a movie. And
Mhm.
everybody who read it
Yeah.
said, this could be a movie. So
Right.
eventually, at some point, between now and whenever,
Mhm.
it'll be on the big screen, I'm sure.
So how can our viewers get your books?
It is available on Amazon.com.
Okay.
I also do local book signings,
Mhm.
and Detroit and Cincinnati.
Mhm.
I'm trying to do. I had a deal with Barnes and Nobles with Bait and Switch, so we'll
Okay.
do that again.
Okay.
So we can go all over.
And you have a website?
Actually, I do is TitoBradley.com,
Okay.
and you can get the books there as well.
Nice. So what's next for Tito Bradley?
Well, what's coming up next is the actual release,
Mhm.
which is October 28th. It's going to
Okay.
be at Lalo's on Larchmere. It's
Okay.
going to be a Halloween party/book release.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
And we're going to have a great time.
Mhm.
We're going to have giveaways, raffle. We're going to have a situation where we're going to incorporate the serial killer theme.
Okay.
So I'm going to give away, a prize for the best costume.
Okay.
We're just going to really go in and have a great time with this book.
It sounds like from the preview that you gave us that somebody coming in plain clothes might win. If they can't
Never
be
know.
profiled, you never
You
know.
never know. You
Well,
never
thank
know.
you so much, Tito Bradley, for being on the show. I want everybody to go to TitoBradley.com and find out more about our author right here in Cleveland. You guys get it while it's hot because sooner or later he'll be too big for you to catch him.
Never.
Thanks again for being on the show. I'll be back with a few thoughts in just a moment.
Thank you.
So that was another great show right here in season 6 with Tito Bradley, a Cleveland author, getting ready to roll out his 3rd book, Reciprocation. For those of you who don't know and want to know more about Tito Bradley, go to TitoBradley.com. Thanks for tuning in for another Saturday. We'll see you again real soon.